Ready? Set? Adventure! Welcome to Hellesylt World Tour as we cruise the fjords of Norway. Today we'll be stopping at the idyllic ports of Hellesylt and Geiranger. We'll disembark in Geiranger and explore the town. We'll rent a talking e-car that will guide us to some stunning places. We'll sample a local beer and the Fishcake specialty. We'll do some shopping and have a picture-perfect day. Come join us as we arrive at our first port of call aboard the MSC Euribia. We begin the day with an early morning cruise through the Norwegian Fjords. The stunning natural beauty and soft early morning light combine to give it an almost surrealistic quality. Our first stop is the town of Hellesylt, but only those with shore excursions will debark. The rest of us will continue to the port of Geiranger. It's a little disappointing because Hellesylt looks beautiful, but this way we'll be able to spend more time in Geiranger. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing the name like a native Norwegian, so I do apologize. Let's take a few moments to admire the beauty before continuing on our way. This scenic little town has less than 1,000 residents. It's the scenic gateway to the Geirangerfjord. Our ship offered a scenic drive between Hellesylt and Geiranger, but we decided to stay on board. We'll get a quick look at the town from the ship. The waterfall is the centerpiece and is stunning. All the buildings looked like they belonged in a fairy tale story. Things just didn't look real. To add to the beauty, the trees were starting to change color. It was about 9 a.m. and many people were out and about admiring the views. Although we have a balcony cabin, you can't beat the views from the deck. We've been on an Alaskan cruise, and while there were some similarities, Alaska is primarily about the wildlife. Norway is all about the scenic beauty, and the waterways are narrow, so you feel like you're part of the scenery. Of course, it can be a bit chilly. Dress in layers and you should be fine. This was September 30th and the weather wasn't really that bad. And now we're heading for our first debarkation. We're leaving Hellesylt at about 9:45 and arriving in Geiranger at noon. We'll be there until 9 p.m. Cliffs here can rise between 2,000 and 6,000 feet above sea level. The morning sun brings out the beautiful colors on the mountainsides. Although narrow, these channels are thankfully deep. One of the more striking things about this was just the stillness. There's a sense of calm and peace as you travel through. And at some points, you can even hear the rush of the waterfalls. The ship seems to glide effortlessly on the mirror-like water, and the air feels crisp and clean. You'll truly feel like you stepped into a postcard. Out on deck, you can move freely to find the best view. Of course, there are no bad views. It's nearly impossible to capture the scale and beauty of this area. If you have the chance, I would definitely recommend coming here. For now, come sail along with us as we try to capture the splendor. Waterfalls are everywhere. Because they're protected by the fjords, waterways are as still as glass. You'll be awestruck by the stunning natural landscapes. And you'll feel like you're close enough to reach out and touch the mountains. Most everyone was up at the rail rather than relaxing on chairs. You're likely to see some interesting birds and maybe some porpoises, but probably no whales this far south. The only wildlife we really saw were goats, and they weren't actually wild. But the scenery is captivating. Announcements were made pointing out various points of interest, such as the Seven Sisters Waterfall.
Dear guests, the Seven Sisters Waterfalls.
Everyone hurried to find the perfect position to see the waterfalls. There's something about scenic cruising that gives the deck a more communal feel. In Alaska, people work together to spot the wildlife, and here in Norway, it was looking for waterfalls. It's tempting to try to touch those cliffs. The Seven Sisters Waterfall are 7 separate streams cascading down the mountain side by side. Traveling through here feels timeless and almost spiritual. Even though excited to be here, passengers observe in a silent awe. This area is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Recognized in 2005 for its scenically outstanding and geographically significant landscapes. And just like that, the town comes into view. Geiranger is a major cruise ship hub and one of Norway's most visited spots. The town welcomes about 180 cruise ships per season. It's small but bustling, and we can't wait to explore. The emerald waters mirror the hillsides. They use a floating dock here called the Seawalk. It connects to the ship once the ship is anchored. It's convenient for passengers as no tenders are required. We'll be arriving soon, so we stopped in at the buffet for brunch. I guess we made a rather monochromatic selection. Although inside the omelet, we did have some tomato and ham to brighten it up. The omelet is made to order, and in my opinion, one of the best buffet options. Back outside, the Seawalk has been attached, and it's time to disembark. There are lots of things to do here, from an ambitious bike tour, to hiking, to taking a boat ride, or relaxing on a bus tour. We've rented a talking e-car and can't wait to see what that's all about. All aboard time isn't until 9 p.m., so that gives us lots of time to explore. So we can slow down and enjoy our time. It looks like most passengers had a little cabin fever, and many are getting off the ship. It was a smooth, efficient, quick process. It's a short walk down the Seawalk to the town. Those without excursions or plans should still get off the ship and walk around the town. It's a bustling place with plenty of gift shops, restaurants, and bars to see. A note of warning, we found everything to be quite expensive. Local currency is the Norwegian krone, but credit cards were readily accepted. This tiny town at the foot of the magnificent fjords has only about 300 permanent residents. It's known as the jewel in the crown of the Norwegian fjords. Take a minute to get to know this stunning place. Your fellow cruise ship passengers will quickly fill the streets of this small village. Trolls will await your arrival. Stop by the ticket office to see what tours are available. The hop-on, hop-off bus is a way to see major highlights. We were blessed with a beautiful day to see the sights. Don't miss your first Instagrammable moment. Stop for a picture with the troll with the ship in the background. Confer with your friends and make your plans for the day. First stop is shopping. Pick up a warmer jacket or a beautiful Norwegian sweater. Check the labels because not everything was made in Norway. You'll find plenty of souvenirs available. I found from port to port the selections to be pretty similar. There was also a little sticker shock as prices were high. We continued our walk down the main street. Lonely Planet named this the best travel destination in Scandinavia. We found it to have a wonderful blend of shops and restaurants, magnificent scenery, and interesting activities, and the people were friendly and welcoming. The rustic buildings along the waterfront are a reminder of the town's cultural heritage and its roots in agriculture and maritime activities. The red color defined the area's aesthetic identity. Grass roofs provided a waterproof barrier and acted as excellent insulation. In the modern village, you'll still see thatched roofs. Let's take a walk to the end of the street. We stopped into one of the many shops. Pick up a cute Viking bag or a Norway souvenir. Next door was the grocery store Joker. It's always fun to see what the local grocery stores offer. We picked up a few necessities for the day and found a place for a sticker. We stopped at the local bakery, Lana. The sweet treats all looked delicious, but the cookie was irresistible. And now we were fueled up and ready to go. These folks are dressed and ready for their rib boat ride. They'll get to see the waterfalls up close and personal. Many travelers leave their mark with colorful stickers. We walked up the hill to where our e-mobile car was waiting.
I'll race ya.
That's the best decision.
Built as a talking car, these little vehicles let you zip around and see the highlights. Rent your car for 2 hours. We had booked online in advance and it was about $200 for the two of us. We were given a return time and walked back down to town. It seemed like the initial rush of cruise ship passengers had subsided a bit. People had found other activities to keep busy. Many people were also enjoying their first tastes of Norway. We picked up our car and were on our way. We passed a group heading for their tour bus. Our so-called talking car narrated the roads to take and the highlights along the way.
These mountains reach from 1,100 to 1,700 meters.
Stop as much as you like, just have the car back in 2 hours. You will be sharing the road with all other vehicles. There were pull-off points on some of the narrow roads.
But you can relax. We have, of course, tested the Twizy to make sure it gets up without a problem.
This was an outstanding way to see the scenery. You could decide when and where to stop and for how long. And here's our first wildlife spotting. He doesn't look that wild. On to our first point of interest. Hopefully those are e-bikes, because these are some pretty steep hills. Our guidance took us here and we found a place to park. We admired the roadside waterfall and continued past the hiking path to the Ornesvingen lookout point. It's a popular tour spot and not hard to see why. This is located on Eagle Road, the steepest stretch up the mountainside. We navigated 11 hairpin turns to get here. Views were breathtaking. The ship looks like a toy from here. It's a busy place, but you can still enjoy the majesty of it. We were glad to be on our own and not on a bus tour. This gave us much more flexibility on time and where to stop. And now we're traveling back down the mountainside through town to our next stop. Bye guys! Here's one of those hairpin turns. Ship looks a little bigger up close. We traveled back through town and our rental agent made sure everything was okay. Now we're heading to the Queen's Throne, taking some scenic photos along the way. Hiking is very popular here. 400 meters to our destination. And now we've arrived. This is said to be one of the most popular places for travel photos of Norway. Photos at this impressive spot almost capture the essence of Norway's grandeur. From here, enjoy views of the lush greenery, serene waters, and towering cliffs. Oh, and the ship, too. Even among the crowds, there's a certain serenity here. And of course, you'll have to get a picture at the Queen's Throne. This is dedicated to Queen Sonja of Norway and provides a stunning panoramic photo spot. You'll feel like the Queen of Norway sitting here. By all means, don't let this be your last Instagram photo. Fences are there for a reason, and don't be a fool. There's so many stunning viewpoints, there's no reason to take unnecessary chances. Down from Queen's Throne is the Norwegian Fjord Center. It provides visitor education and serves as the official visitor center of the World Heritage Site. Paths and walkways bring you close to the water. One of the town's hotels is also located here. Take heed of the graphic. You're much closer to a waterfall than you probably realize. Let's take a moment to appreciate the power of the water. After a beautiful scenic day, it's time to return our little car. We headed back to the village to try some local beer and food. Hansa is a prominent beer from Bergen. It was a slightly bitter Pilsner, and this was the local pale ale from Geiranger. And after all that white-knuckle driving, it's great to relax and be here with a beer. It's about 4 o'clock now, and time to get a bite to eat. We chose Berserk. They specialized in burgers and craft beer. Choose outdoor or indoor seating. We sat inside by the window. They informed us that we were the last ship of the season, and as such were out of a lot of beer. They did have a Pilsner and Porter. We shared a burger and fries. The burger looked good, but looks can be deceiving. It had a taste and texture that I didn't care for. It was the end of the season, so maybe they were just off their game. To further add to the disappointment, the check came. As I mentioned, Norway is an expensive place. After our disappointing experience, we headed across the street for a fish cake. It's probably a good idea to stick with the local specialty. You can get your fish cake with mashed potatoes or in a pita. This was a small takeout restaurant. Add more pickled onions or chili flakes if you like. The menu was small, but prepared with care. We got the fish cake on pita and headed outside. The fish cake was delicious and the better choice when dining in Geiranger. For more local flavor, I recommend stopping here instead. With bellies full, we took our final walk around the village. An all-aboard time of 9 p.m. gave us a lot of time to explore. If we come back in the future, we'd probably do a second tour like a bike ride or the rib boat. On this trip, we did more shopping. Then we hurried around to take one last look. Norway was expected to enact a zero emissions mandate to ships visiting the World Heritage Sites. This includes Geiranger and Flam. As of now, that requirement has been pushed back from 2026 to 2032. The 2026 deadline will only apply to ships under 10,000 gross tons. The Euribia relies primarily on liquefied natural gas. As one of the cleanest fuels, their Euribia should be ready for the future. Back on board, we grabbed a quick snack at the buffet, freshened up in our cabin, and headed out for the evening. We won't be staying out too late tonight because tomorrow's another busy port day. We'll be docking in Hellesylt at a bright and early 7 a.m. There was plenty of action in the Infinity Atrium. And tonight was Divas night in the Carousel Lounge. We arrived a bit late, but still managed to find a seat. Tonight's performers were the talented lead singers from the production crew. The show was outstanding, and this venue is one of our favorites at sea. And after the show concludes, stick around for the DJ and dancing. For us, we ended the night at the casino. Then we said goodnight to Geiranger as we headed to our next port. Because we found our early morning sail through the fjords to be so magnificent, we wanted to share the footage of our approach to the town of Hellesylt. Thanks for joining us at UNESCO World Tour for a beautiful day among the stunning Norway fjords in the village of Geiranger. Our travel wisdom for the day comes from Knut Hamsun. The mountains of Norway stand tall as guardians of a land untouched by chaos. Be sure to subscribe to UNESCO World Tour. If you liked the video, click that like button, and we'd love it if you'd leave us a comment. Hit that notification button so you'll know when our next video is dropped. And follow us on Instagram. We really appreciate your support. Get ready, get set for our next adventure.